النعمان بن بشير رضي الله عنه قال سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول. Tonight's hadith is from the collection of both Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim, and it's narrated to us by Nu'man ibn Bashir. He said that I heard that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, and this hadith is known to people because it's actually in the Nawawi collection, the 40 hadith Nawawi, so I'll really briefly talk about it inshallah ta'ala. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الحلال بين وإن الحرام بين وبينهما أمور مشتبهات لا يعلمها كثير من الناس فمن اتقى الشبهات فقد استبرأ لدينه وعرضه ومن وقع في الشبهات وقع في الحرام كالراعي رعى حول الحمى كالراعي يرعى حول الحمى يوشك أن يواقعه ألا وإن لكل ملك حمى ألا وإن حمى الله محارمه ألا وإن في الجسد مضغة إذا صلحت صلح الجسد كله وإذا فسدت فسد الجسد كله ألا وهي القلب. It's a longer hadith which I'll go over with in English, but I want to focus on the last part because our theme is about the heart. And I think that it's a very important topic as we approach Ramadan in the next few months to really focus on being a different Ramadan. And Ramadan is a time of change. And usually the change that we think about is the symptom, not the actual root cause. And so the heart is the root cause. This hadith is telling you that the heart is the root cause to problems. And so the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ says, the halal is clear and the haram is clear, and between them are doubtful matters. Whoever avoids these doubtful matters, then he safeguarded his religion and his honor, and whoever falls into these doubtful matters, then they will fall into haram. And then, the analogy is given, it's as the shepherd is taking care of his flock, and they approach or they're near a sanctuary, and the flock is grazing all around the sanctuary, that perhaps they may actually fall into the sanctuary unintentionally. And that is the parable with, being in that doubtful manner that you might fall into haram. And that the Prophet ﷺ continues and says, he says that indeed every king has their sanctuary, has this boundary that shouldn't be crossed. And indeed, the sanctuary of Allah, the King of Kings, subhanahu wa ta'ala, is the things that He's prohibited. And this is the part I want to focus on, inshallah ta'ala. Indeed, in the body, there's a piece of flesh. If it's sound, if it's good, the rest of the body is sound and good. But if it is corrupt, then the rest of the body is corrupt. And that piece of flesh is the heart. That piece of flesh is the heart. This hadith tells us very clearly our moral compass, the center, the spiritual center, is the heart. If the heart loves Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and wants to get closer to Allah, it commands the rest of the body to follow suit. It will command the limbs, the hands, to do good. It will command the eyes to look at khair and avoid haram. It will command the ears, and so on and so forth. Because it's the control center. I like to call it the governor, right? The heart is the governor and the limbs obey. This is the body obeying the governor. And if it's corrupt, if it's filled with trying to fulfill its desires, it will do at any expense because it loves to follow its desire. It will command its limbs, the hands and the eyes and the ears, to follow suit and do haram. And so it's very important when we're looking at trying to change, right? We look at the state of our hearts. What we do externally with our limbs are just symptoms. And this is especially when we're trying to even raise our children, right? When our kids, or ourselves even, when we do something that's wrong, let's say we lie. We say, okay, I need to stop lying. I have a habit of lying, whatever, small lie, blue lie, black lie, white lie, doesn't matter. I have a habit of lying. I want to control that. So every time I lie, I'm going to punish myself. That's good, but you're not taking care of the root cause. The root cause, this hadith is telling you, the root cause is the heart. There's a problem in the heart that needs to be fixed. So we need to look into our hearts and ask ourselves, why did I lie? Why did I do this particular mistake or sin? Or so you question yourself. You're reflecting on the state of your heart to figure out your intention. Why did I do such and such? Because that's where the root cause is coming, and this is what we need to address, the source of the problem. And likewise, if you do khair, you do good, you also ask yourself, why did I do that khair? Did I do it because I wanted to help my community? I donated to help my community? Or did I do it for another intention that's hidden in my heart? The only way you'll tell is if you look deep inside your heart, because the heart is what commands the body to do certain things based on what it wants. And so if it's good, it will command good. And if it's corrupt, it will command corruption. And I'll close with this, inshallah ta'ala. So reflection is very important on why we do certain things. Not just what we do, but why. That's number one. Number two, the hadith is telling us, al-halal bayin and haram is bayin, right? The halal is clear, the haram is clear. And it's then talking about the heart, saying that your condition, your situation, your external surroundings impact your heart. So be careful of what you fall into. What you're surrounded by impacts your heart, and that impacts what you do and what you behave and how you act. And I tell this all the time to my kids. You can be the best cucumber in the world, but as soon as we put you in vinegar, you're going to become a pickle, no matter how strong you are. You're going to become a pickle. People like pickles, but pickles are not a good thing. So we have to look and see our surroundings. The heart will reflect what it absorbs. So we need to be cautious of what we intake, what we're around. That's why around good friends, around the masjid, around people who will remind us of Allah is extremely important for the heart. Okay? And then that's one way to change the heart is your surroundings. The other way is the heart is the governor of the body, but Allah also subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us an advisor to the heart. Every governor has an advisor, right? Somebody will tell them, you should do this, that's a good idea to do this, or stay away from this. The advisor for the heart is the mind. The mind. And so the mind will advise and consult and give, recommendations to the heart. You should like this, and you should stay away from this. And so it's important that we also focus on gaining knowledge, because knowledge is what gives wisdom and understanding to the advisor that will tell the heart what to like and what to hate. Right? So somebody may be, stingy and not like to give out of their wealth. The mind, if it's learned the ayat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu ma naqasa malun min sadaqa, it will tell it, a sadaqah you give will not decrease your wealth. And if you give, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala yudha'afu liman yasha. So it's now advising the heart what to like sadaqah, so give. And likewise, if it's something that, is plaguing our community actually, this, indecency is all over the internet, all around us, and it's affecting our children. And wallahu alam, one effective way is obviously to target again the mind, to give the mind the knowledge so that it impacts the heart. And so, an example, you say, well, what's the worst thing a person can do besides just believing in Allah? Kill. Okay, kill a person. What's also a bad thing to do? Kill your own kids. Well, these are two bad things, right? We would never do that, right? Well, in Surah Al-An'am, right? And in Surah Al-Isra, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions these two things not to do, and between them, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا. Do not approach zina. To give zina the level of killing. So, again, feeding the mind knowledge and wisdom so that it now makes the heart hate these things. So it avoids them. And so we target our environment, our surroundings, and we gather knowledge so that the heart has control over, or the mind has control over the heart, so that it influences the body to do khair and to avoid the prohibitions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I hope that was beneficial. يروي الشيخان في الصحيحين عن النعمان ابن بشير رضي الله عنه قال سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول إن الحلال بين وإن الحرام بين وبينهما أمور مشتبهات لا يعلمها كثير من الناس فمن اتقى الشبهات فقد استبرأ لدينه وعرضه ومن وقع في الشبهات وقع في الحرام كالراعي يرعى حول الحمى يوشك أن يواقعه ألا وإن لكل ملك حمى ألا وإن حمى الله في أرضه محارمه ألا وإن في الجسد مضغة إذا صلحت صلح الجسد كله وإذا فسدت فسد الجسد كله ألا وهي القلب. صدق رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله